Have you ever so quickly and so suddenly and seemingly out of almost nowhere seen a class war just erupt like it has in the last week?
I remember I woke up one day and I was like, some of the GameStop stocks? Whatever. Okay. And I just ignored it, and the next day it's like, oh, hedge funds lose millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars, actually.
Yeah, billions.
And I was like, well, that makes me happy.
Yeah, fuck them, eat the rich.
Yeah, and then after that I realized it was more than just a small little thing that was happening, and something big enough to put a hedge fund out of business, or at least close to it.
I kind of feel bad for GameStop, though. They didn't ask for this.
I mean, they're benefiting from it.
Are they though? Yeah. Are they though? Because once the excitement calms down, they're crashing hard, and then it's right back into the dumpster where they're going.
I mean, that's the inevitable fall, but at least it's okay, we're getting a little bit of a reprieve from what is going to happen. And also, it could last, I don't know, it probably won't last that much longer.
No.
At least with my inexperience of, information on stocks.
Especially since, all those apps and the government shut that shit down.
Yeah, that was the...
Can't have the brokies getting all this money.
No, we can make the money, but you
not you.
can't. No.
Not you. We can't.
The stock market was for us. You guys can, piddle-paddle around it, but it's for us.
So all that trickle-down economics really works, doesn't it? Huh?
Very, very good, yeah.
All that fucking... Oh, yeah, let's not tax the rich. That works.
Yeah.
They'll spend it on their employees. Okay.
That's a grander conversation that's just kind of I wonder...
It all feeds into
it all feeds into it, yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, but I kind of didn't want to talk about that story too much this week. One, because we don't really know what we're talking about when it comes to stocks.
Yeah.
Two, it's not really a game story, even though it happens around a games company.
One that sells games.
Yeah, one that sells games. It could have happened to any company.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop just happened to be the target, so I don't think it really relates to games news in that way, at least not in the way that this podcast works. And there's so many better sources you could get information from and who could break it down and make it more concise for you that we're just not those guys.
Yeah, I cannot explain the specifics of how you exactly short a stock. I understand what it is.
I get the general concept.
So do I. But when you get into the details of how do they do that, I couldn't answer anything. So I feel weird talking about it. But articulate what's going on.
Connor, you know what we don't feel weird talking about?
Everything else related to video games.
Specifically, Konami dissolving itself into a more streamlined way, Valve getting sued, and is Xbox Game Pass a hit? And we're going to find out today, Connor, because this is the Two Penny Gamescast. That's right. What's poppin', players? Welcome back. Episode 28 to the Two Penny Gamescast. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hi to the people, Connor.
Hey.
Always with the snaps.
I hope they heard it.
Always with the snaps. Anyways, how you doing, Connor?
I'm doing pretty good. You seem to have a busy week.
I'm busy. I'm tired.
Yeah. I have not had a busy week.
I pulled a muscle in my back. It really hurts to turn, but
Serving's a tough job. You gotta turn and twist and see how people are behind you.
We're pushing through. We're pushing through. So, ladies and gentlemen, this show, if you don't know, comes at you every Monday, 8 a.m., Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. This show is all about video games and the gaming news and the news you need to know. Me and Connor here each bring you two topics of our own. Two pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. And this week, Connor, we've got a bit of a doozy. And let me tell you what, I had it in my hand, and once again, I have forgotten to take the start note. Every fucking week, I forget. I have a time code for when the podcast starts, and I give my little intro, and I have a time code for the first penny. And I always forget one of those two. It's either the first penny I forget, or it's the intro I forget. And I can't fucking for the life of me get into the habit of putting it down right.
Well, now that you're doing this, can't you make the timestamp now? Because it's not...
Oh, I did, but it's a guess. It's like a guess.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I think I started it about a minute and a half ago, so I'm going to write it down that way. But, Connor, technical difficulties in my own ineptitude aside, let's go ahead and jump into our first penny of the day. Your first penny specifically, and that has to do all with Konami dissolving all 3 production divisions. We're pulling an article from slashgear.com by Chris Burns.
I've heard of them. But they were comprehensive in what they were talking about.
I don't know who this is, but hey, yeah, it's a nice article. Go give them a read. Go give them a click. All of that. Anyways, Gaming company Konami announced that as of February 1st, 2021, they'll be formally dissolving all 3 of their production divisions. After each division is dissolved, they'll be restructured. In the restructuring of their company, a whole bunch of major players in the company will be reassigned and instated to new positions. It's unlikely we'll see the company pushing any major title games in the very near future. Wow, Konami have one of the most recognizable names in gaming. They've not released any new titles for quite a while. As such, it comes as little surprise that they're looking to make some major changes in the way they do business. The announcement about restructuring suggested the following, quote, "We are dissolving the production divisions to respond to the rapid market that surrounds us," end quote. Konami's, first year 2021 Q2, what is that? FY means first year, right?
Yeah, first year.
Okay, 2021
Fiscal year.
But
dum-dum. Yeah.
Konami's fiscal year 2021 Q2 earnings report showed how expenses from COVID-19 skyrocketed while revenue fell year over year, where the company reported 121.1 billion yen in fiscal year 2020 H1. What does H stand for?
I don't know.
Now I'm lost.
Okay. Basically, they're...
Konami, which hasn't put out a real game since, when did Survive come out? 2016? 2017?
It was weird time. It felt like it was later than it was.
It wasn't 2018. I'm pretty sure it was 2017.
I'll have it in a second here.
So they haven't put out a game in 3-4 years now. They haven't put out a game of consequence in over 5, being Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain.
2018, yeah.
2018. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So that plus COVID-19 plus, they're moving into the pachinko machine nonsense that they were doing, and just constantly making the wrong moves when it comes to producing video games. It really comes to no surprise to me that they're downscaling and they're streamlining their production in order to
make more games efficiently.
Make whatever they're going to make efficiently.
Because let's be honest, they're not doing anything with the Silent Hill IP. They haven't done anything with the Metal Gear.
Nope.
Anything solid with it, at least. And they've been making pachinko games. Like the last thing they did.
Castlevania's been dead for damn near a decade.
It is, which they could revive that, but due to the fact that they're so obsessed with making pachinko games, from what we've last heard of them, it doesn't seem like they have any interest in that, much less make anything else like Silent Hill.
It's very clear, I think, to everyone that just overall I think they've just lost touch, man, and this is just continued evidence of that.
Yeah, and it sucks because it would be nice if they were just to sell the rights to some of the IPs that they have control over to game studios that would actually use it for something good. But they know that as long as they have things like Silent Hill and Metal Gear, they can keep making pachinko games, which is an easy thing to sell. Saying it's the Silent Hill pachinko game or Metal Gear Solid 3 pachinko game.
Great gambling arcade cabinets.
That are only popular in Japan.
Yeah.
That don't have any consequence anywhere else, but they're making money from it.
Are they though? Because they're losing money year over year.
They are.
So this isn't paying off. This must be like it's only paying off for the bigwigs.
Oh yeah, well that's all that matters at the end of the day to these people. They've never really shown care for their creators. The whole situation with Hideo Kojima is a really
greed
good
is greed, no
of
matter
that.
what culture it partakes in.
No, not at all. And we'd like.
It's worth saying this doesn't mean that they're just not gonna produce any games anymore, but I don't know, man. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
I guarantee you, they're not going to be games that are going to end up on our top of the year lists anytime soon.
They won't even be landing on our radars, let alone lists.
Probably not.
It's so unfortunate because those are just Castlevania, Metal Gear, and what's the third one? Silent Hills. Those are franchises and IP that gave so much to this industry and inspired so much, and now we're just sitting back and fucking twiddling our thumbs as we watch this company that used to put out key titles just fucking dissolve into just a shell of itself.
Yeah, and it's probably safe to assume that a lot of the good talent probably have left by now. At least I would hope they would.
Oh, Kojima took most of his team with him.
Yeah, that's what I would hope so. Even beyond Kojima, but just other people that may have had, their hands in other products, hopefully left as well, and are working on better titles that aren't pachinko games.
Let's hope. You know. But until then, Connor, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Like so many things in this industry, just a bunch of wait and see.
Especially now.
And speaking of waiting and see for a company that hasn't really put out any games in the last decade, Connor, did you know that Valve might be in a little bit of trouble right now?
It's, as you said, greed comes in many forms, regardless of the country.
Greed comes in many forms. So this is my first penny. Valve is getting sued for abusing Steam to keep PC game prices high. This is a GameSpot article by Jeremy Winslow. Valve Incorporated finds another lawsuit on its desk as a putative class action filed earlier this week alleges that the video game giant is abusing Steam by requiring developers to sell their games at the same price across all platforms once it enters the PC game distributor's store. The suit, spotted by The Hollywood Reporter and handled by attorneys at the Ohio-based law firm Voice Sater, states that Valve's most favored nations clause in its Steam distribution agreement forces developers to agree that, quote, the price of a PC game on the Steam platform will be the same price the game developers sell their PC games on other platforms. The attorneys note that Valve is abusing the MFN clause by making it difficult for other platforms such as the Epic Games Store, itch.io, and Microsoft Store to compete against Steam. Quote, the Steam MFN also hinders innovation by creating an artificial barrier to entry for platforms, the lawsuit claims. Quote, when a market such as this one is highly concentrated, a new entrant can benefit consumers by undercutting the incumbent's prices. The ability to provide PC games to consumers at lower prices is one way a firm or new entrant could gain market share. If this market functioned properly, that is, if the Steam MFN did not exist and platforms were able to compete on price, platforms competing with Steam would be able to provide the same or higher margins to game developers while simultaneously providing lower prices to customers. The focus of the lawsuit centers on game developers and consumers, as it notes Valve's Steam is the, quote, dominant platform for game developers and game developers to distribute and sell PC games to people. Because of Steam's ubiquity, the attorneys seek to disrupt Steam's market hold in order to make PC game distribution and selling more equitable for makers and players. The lawsuit comes not long after Valve Incorporated was accused of ripping off a patent the company ended up implementing in its now discontinued Steam controller. The lawsuit points out specifically the rear side paddles of the controller, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically, if you want your game on Steam, it's got to come in at the same price as it comes in on every other platform. So $60 for your big games.
Yeah.
This is. It's straight greed. It bottlenecks, the industry, and it forces us to just see everything as one way. When really, when it comes to video games, we should really be able to explore a wide variety of price ranges. Let's take an example for the Epic Games Store. In its first year as a platform, the Epic Games Store acquired Metro Exodus exclusivity. Now, let's say if Metro was competing, or if Metro was also on Steam, well, as an Epic Games Store, it would probably behoove both Epic, the guys over at Metro, and the consumers to maybe introduce Metro Exodus at a $15 discount or something like that. Metro, not the most popular series. Exodus, the one that got the most press. And then, hey, it's $45. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll try it, through Epic. Why not? Because of deals like this, or the MFN here, it totally just stagnates all types of competition in this way.
Mm-hmm. Valve has always seemed like they've always done the best by consumers. They do their Steam sales that go on all the time that are really popular. I wouldn't think personally that they'd be one of these companies that does this kind of thing. But
that was the whole point Epic launched their stores, so that they could give game devs bigger cuts, because Steam chokeholds them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Much like how Apple and Epic are going at it over Fortnite right now.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't heard any developments on that in a while, have you?
I mean, it'll take a year.
Yeah.
Plus.
Lawsuits are going on.
You know.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how far this lawsuit goes. We'll see if it gets thrown out. It sounds like the accusations are based in merit, so they could possibly win it.
Sounds fair to me, but I mean, I could see an easy counter to this being, okay, well, $60 or $70 or whatever is the standard. How many games are really launching at a competitive price point, and how many are actually just launching at the standard price?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of it could be okay, you have a point, but you don't have enough of a point for us to make a change.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of, we'll just have to wait and see. Okay. Connor. You know what I don't want to wait and see, though?
What do you not?
I don't want to wait and see, for a new Shadow of War game. You know why, Connor? Because though it's fun, I don't give a fuck about that franchise. Alright?
I like one more Lord of the Rings games. But sure, that franchise itself has kind of weared itself out. But, I mean, the one system, the Nemesis system, seemed to kind of come under some topics.
But, Connor, we haven't seen that system appear in too many games since.
I wonder. It's such a good system. I wonder why.
I wonder why. Well, it turns out, in your second penny of the day, Warner Bros. Filed a patent for the Mordor Games Nemesis system. This is from PC Gamer by Jody McGregor. As pointed out by Mark Brown in his later Gamer Markets Toolkit video, Warner Bros. Interactive have applied for a patent on the Nemesis system used in the Shadow of Mordor and its sequel, Shadow of War. The system that personalizes orc NPCs, in response to actions players take against them. Specifically, it's a patent for, quote, Nemesis characters, Nemesis forts, social vendettas, and followers in computer games. Brown compares it to the patented floating arrow that told players where to go in Crazy Taxi, which was part of the lawsuit Sega filed against Fox Interactive in 2003 after The Simpsons Road Rage used the same mechanic. The suit was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. However, other games have used mechanics similar to the Nemesis system since it was established in Shadow of Mordor, Warframe, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Path of Exile, Betrayal expansion, and the War of the Chosen expansion for XCOM 2, for instance. And just as a side note, Jody, great work here with this article. All of that was kind of a reach. Every one of those games does not have, I mean, I guess it kind of sort of if you squint, has Nemesis system
enough to draw a line to it, but if you can't really compare it that much
so
to Nemesis
far
system.
it's clearly not the same thing.
Just a side
for
note.
Instance, perhaps that's because the Nemesis patent is currently listed as pending, though a look at the timeline of legal events shows that after being rejected in 2019, it was re-examined in 2020 and then progressed to the, quote, notice of allowance stage, meaning that if paperwork and fees are filed in time, a final patent will be issued. Well, Connor, this is unfortunate.
It is. It really makes it to where this really cool system can possibly only be used by Warner Bros. So I feel like I should mention that the article does go on saying, however, other games have used... Where was it?
You just had it.
I just did.
I saw you were ready. Did you got crazy with scrolling?
That said, simply owning a patent on a video game system isn't the same as preventing anything similar from ever being made. So, those similar ways to do the Nemesis system, maybe more, less of a reach than the examples that were listed above, could come out, but specifically the Nemesis system, it's going to be solidified by Warner Bros. Studios, which really limits the use it can have in other games where it might thrive. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, once again, even though it was kind of a reach to mention it in the article, that game, having a system that's extremely similar to the Nemesis system in the Mordor games, could benefit those kinds of games really well. It's open world.
Yep.
You have an Odyssey. I don't know if it's the same for Valhalla, about having bounty hunters that are in the game.
As far as I know, there is no system like that in Valhalla.
No, but they could do it in the next Assassin's Creed game and have that system. Because despite the fact that in something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I enjoyed fighting those bounty hunters, there was no personality to them when you compare them to something like the Mordor games.
Yeah.
And I remember when it actually came out, you said at one point, why don't games have this more now? And I guess this goes to explaining it.
Never extended past it.
No.
And being sued by Warner Brothers. Yeah, okay. No, yeah, that would be a good reason as to why I wouldn't want to just blatantly rip that off.
Yeah.
So, very unfortunate because it was the most exciting when did Shadow of Mordor come out? 2014? That was the most exciting thing. Oh, so we're fresh off, new console. We're in the new console generation of the PS4 and the Xbox One, and we're like, okay, what is next gen? And we look around, and it's all mostly the same, except now we have color, and it's like, okay, all right, but like, is there anything new? And the Nemesis system was the first thing to come out and say, this is new. This is something you haven't seen before. And it was so fucking exciting to have something like that, that we may not even really get again.
Well, you see, that's what I was thinking of. Now that they patented this, are they going to use it in sequential Mordor games, if there are going to be any made in the future?
I mean, Shadow
or are they
of
doing
War
new
didn't
games?
do that well. I
thought it did very well.
It did okay.
But even so, would they make another one of those games?
It had all that microtransaction controversy and shit.
It did have that, yeah.
So
the final product didn't really have that in there.
It doesn't have the name branding because for whatever reason they dropped the Mordor part, so it didn't have as much of a Lord of the Rings name branding as the first game did.
Yeah, Shadow of War. I guess they did change that, didn't they?
It's generic as fuck.
God. Shadow of War.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see. I mean, maybe we get a third game for that series, but I don't see it turning into like a staple franchise,
Not at this current stage, no.
Especially when games like even like the Batman games could get a boost from using the Nemesis system. Also a Warner Brothers property, but like, are we ever going to see it at this point? I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, it's kind of strange. Maybe once again, this is a trend we're going on. Greed. Maybe they just wanted to make any amount of money that they could in the future.
It's there, so you got to go to them to do it. So I guess maybe, but a lot of scratching your heads and going, "Why are you doing this?" But as we continue to say this episode and several other episodes, we'll just have to wait and see.
Read and wait and see.
Why do you think it is that this industry takes so long to even see anything?
Because when you just think of the main content that this industry is about, video games, it could take years to make it. When did God of War come out, for example? God of War 4?
2018.
Yeah, 2018. And now we're like, is it going to come out 2021?
Probably not.
Maybe. 2022?
Yeah, that's 3 years.
And compare that to movies. Movies like Star Wars movies, Marvel movies, getting them really
you
fast.
shoot it, and then in a year it comes out. Yeah. Well, maybe not for those big blockbuster movies, because that takes a lot of time. But, you can shoot a movie and have it come out in the next, 9 months.
Yeah.
But video games, much different scale, much different type of production pipeline.
Yeah.
Not as easy. A lot of stuff gets developed and scrapped. I think that's why, we saw this week, if you were paying attention, Halo Infinite was like, hey, we're going to start doing development updates to like keep y'all in touch as to what's happening with the game because we know y'all are concerned because it's been a while.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, it actually hadn't been that long if you can like take the full timeline of like announcement to hopefully the hopeful actual release date. Mm-hmm. It's just because it got pushed that it feels like we haven't had any news from that game.
Also, people are kind of more impatient nowadays, I feel, when it comes to getting their stuff and getting news on it. Like Elden Ring, actually. We saw the reveal trailer. They say they're working on it, but every single time an event comes up, me and fellow Souls fans are like, hey, where's Elden Ring? I hope Elden Ring comes up in this showing. Like, we're always waiting on the edge of our seat for that next piece of news for something that we want.
There's a lot of secrecy in this industry. I personally think it's for good reason.
I think so too. I don't see this as a negative. You really just just a thing of how it is.
But there is a conversation to be had of like, okay, other industries don't do this. Like when a movie is announced, it's announced in a phone call or a like a meeting or just like they just say, hey, we're making X movie.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later that movie comes out. Or a year later a trailer, and then the next year the movie comes out. Why doesn't that really happen with games? Why is it? Oh, hey, we don't know what Santa Monica Studios is doing, even though like we know it's God of War Ragnarok, but like they have another game, and you go, okay, so why is Santa Monica Studios' next game a secret? Like, why don't you just tell us what it is?
Well, in that regard, one of the honestly, it's kind of the reason I like. Which is the showmanship of like what game is coming out. You can keep on guessing, and then they have these events, whether it's E3, the Game Awards, their own expo, whatever it is, and then they say, "Here's this brand new trailer from us," and that generates a lot of hype from people like me. We get excited for that kind of stuff, for the presentation of it.
It's also again to how just game development works versus something like movies or even music. It's like we could show you something, we could show you a concept, we could show you some gameplay even. Of just this general idea that we're selling, and then we get 6, 7, 8 months into production, a year and a half into production, 2 years into production, and realize it doesn't work, and it's not going to do well. So we have to cancel and scrap the whole thing. So what's the point in stringing you along for 2 years and giving you every piece of information just to be like, oh, all this that you've seen and that you're excited for, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Scalebound. That was that Xbox Dragon, whatever weird game that looked close to completion and then was canceled. Perfect example of that.
Apparently, that was pretty much completely made too, wasn't it? Like that's what I had heard.
To my understand, I don't know. To my understanding, it was probably a lot of like having to just go through and patchwork and stuff. But for whatever reason, Microsoft looked at that, the studio looked at that, and said, "This isn't going to work, and it's not going to deliver what we want. So it's out of here." That's a great example of, just kind of how this industry works. And that's kind of why it's required that, like, okay, things have to be in secret. Santa Monica, I brought it up, and then coincidentally, it's also a great example. God of War, the 2018 game, is not the game they were working on since God of War Ascension. There was a game in between there that was being made, and then it got canceled. We don't know really much about it. And then the studio almost went bankrupt. And, Sony said, okay, here's another chance. Go make this another God of War game. And then now we see how that happened. Yeah. But can you imagine how the headlines would have looked if we had seen every step of that development of whatever that nebulous game is that they were working on? And then, they were on the brink of like just being closed in 2013, 2014. So
now, do you think more transparency could have helped it along because it would have generated more support from the masses, or would it have been a lot more scrutinized and they would have been more quick to say, okay, people aren't as open to this as we want them to be, cancel it? I think that might, it makes it easier just to say, we'll keep it under wraps so we can be more, we don't have as much criticism on us until we decide to release it at whatever stage it's on.
Less criticism, yes. I also think there's such a thing where if you just talk to us too much for too long about one thing, we all lose interest and we just don't care anymore. So if you just keep coming with us of, hey, this is where we're at. Hey, this is where we're at. Hey, at some point we're like, I just don't care anymore, dude. Like, yeah. I'm good. Like, and that's all it is.
Yeah. So overall, I do think it's kind of fine the way it is. I don't really see any glaring issues where I'm just like, why are you doing this? More like it's just, I would like to know some things that's going on behind the scenes, but if I'm not going to get it right now, I'll live. I'm not like clawing at the walls to get new information.
I think there just has to be a balance between a game that is announced and then released in 6 months, and then a game that is announced and not released for 4 years.
That's true.
There has to be, we want the key landmark titles. We want, the God of Wars. We want the Cyberpunk 2077s. We want the Hideo Kojima games. We want the Naughty Dog games to be like, oh, y'all doing that now? Okay, cool. Whenever it's ready, bring it to me. Cyberpunk. Whereas games of a smaller, Doom, for example. Doom, I think, was announced. Doom Exodus, I think, was announced a little too early. And by the time people got it, people may not have cared as much as opposed to like if Doom Exodus was announced.
Eternal, you mean, or are you trying to say Metro?
Doom.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Doom Exodus. Like,
are
you trying
Doom
to like
Eternal?
which? Okay, yeah. Okay.
My apologies. Good catch. Doom Eternal. If that was announced 6 to 9 months before it came out, and then it came out, and it was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. I think people would be a lot more excited for that. Just me. Mm-hmm. You know.
Don't string people along. Don't be too secretive.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are some games you can be secretive for those. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Just let me know they're coming, and I'll, eventually, we'll get them and be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Funny how we went from talking about a patent on the Nemesis system to a whole conversation of the transparency and speediness of the game industry.
Typical video game shit where there's a lot of interconnectivity between it all.
I do like those things.
Connor, something not so interconnected. I want to have a conversation about Xbox real quick. Mm-hmm. And this is my final penny here. This is our final penny of the show here. An article from The Verge is where I'm pulling this information from by Tom Warren. Xbox Game Pass subscribers hit 18 million. Microsoft is continuing to attract people to its Xbox Game Pass service. The, quote, Netflix for video games service now has 18 million subscribers, up from the 15 million previously reported in September. Xbox Game Pass is a subscription service that offers access to a growing selection of more than 100 Xbox games for $9.99 per month. Microsoft has been pushing Xbox Game Pass for more than a year now, and it's clear the company is heavily invested in its future. Bungie's Destiny 2 title appeared on Xbox Game Pass late last year, and Control is also available on the service for both Xbox and PC. On an earnings call today being January 26th, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella also revealed that Xbox Live has more than 100 million monthly active users. Nadella also said the launch of the Xbox Series X and S was the most successful in Microsoft's history, with, quote, the most devices ever sold in a launch month. Microsoft also appears to be focused on studio acquisitions to bolster the content available on Game Pass. Microsoft's ZeniMax Media acquisition, the parent company of Doom and Fallout studio Bethesda Softworks, is a big deal that will boost Xbox Game Pass in the future. There have been a variety of promotions designed to entice gamers into the Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft regularly offers the first month of the service for $1 and has been incentivizing Xbox Live Gold customers to switch over to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which includes the company's new xCloud gaming streaming feature. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers also now get a month of Disney Plus for free alongside other benefits. Controversially, Microsoft recently planned to increase its Xbox Live Gold cost in a move that was widely interpreted as an effort to push people into Xbox Games Pass. Take a shot every time I've said Xbox in the last 45 seconds.
And what else are you going to use?
Microsoft was quick to reverse its decision, and Xbox Live Gold prices will now remain the same for now. Free-to-play games will also no longer require a Live Gold subscription. So, Connor, this, I think, feeds into something I've been talking about for the last few weeks now, is why does Xbox continue to have Xbox Live Gold and its Xbox Game Pass as two separate subscription services? Especially when you just look at the difference in the numbers. First of all, congrats to Xbox for growing its streaming services. I'm sure this was a big boost off of the launch of our next gen consoles here. So fantastic that service is growing and that it's hopefully paying off. My question is, how much is it paying off right now? Your numbers seem a little low to me. 18 million? I would have expected to have passed 20, 25 million, especially because you're on Xbox One and PC. And Xbox Series X, of course. So, my question is, you've been going for over a year, almost 2 now. You've really focused it as the main thing your entire push is behind. You're constantly giving us first month only $1 type deals. You're giving us all kinds of 3-month benefits or whatever. You're giving us a month of Disney Plus free. I'm sure that was a pretty penny. On top of also purchasing studios just to make the entire deal seem sweeter, such as the Bethesda Games acquisition. How much money are you dumping in, and how much are you really getting out, especially when you consider it alongside your Xbox Live Gold, which has 100 million active users, or at least the Xbox Live service has 100 million active users. Why are these two separate things? When you could just simply combine the two, sure, increase it a little bit, to which some people will be upset about, obviously, but for the most part, I think all of us will get it and be like, oh, okay, cool, this is just what it is now.
They seem very hesitant to try and combine the two. And the way I see it, they want to they can get money from Xbox Live, and they can get money from Xbox Game Pass. It's just a dual system to make money.
Sure.
The reason why I think they keep not doing it together.
But my point is, you could be getting more money if it was all one thing, because you wouldn't be splitting your base here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're split, it's like, okay, well, I have enough money to either do one or the other, but I can't do both. Well, you care more about Game Pass than you do about Gold, I assume? Or maybe they don't. I don't know. I'm not in these boardroom meetings. But your push for the last year and a half has been all about Game Pass. You care more about Game Pass than you do about your Series X. So, what was the point of launching this new expensive console? What was the point of pushing all of these things and buying all these things and increasing your Gold thing to push people towards Game Pass? If at the end of the day you're not raking in nearly as much as you could be. At least I don't think so. Especially when you're on so many different platforms. How have you not crossed 20 million yet?
To be fair, they did make the jump from 15 million to 18 million since September.
So 3 months, 3 million in 4 months.
Yeah, which is
that's cool.
That is good, and you could probably contribute that to the whole Disney Plus deal. And
no, I'm contributing it to the launch of the Series X.
And I was going to say that next too. But I don't know if they'll see any more increasement on that front. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a good comparing that number with the 100 million people on Xbox Live. It seems like it's just keeping them separate is still just a move that gets them money from two different sources. Because the 15 million people that have Games Pass probably also have Xbox Live, and there must be enough people. There must
be some behind the scenes thing where they just see enough crossover to just not. It just doesn't justify to combine it.
They would have access to that kind of information, I would think.
But at what point does that switch, especially as you continue to grow your platform on PC?
Yeah.
At what point do you go, all right, fuck it, what does it matter? Game Pass is the front and center thing. At least you've been pitching it as the front and center thing for the last year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how this is paying off for them.
They haven't tried to change their course yet, so
I
guess what they've been doing they like what they're seeing.
Unless they're just digging their own grave as fast as possible.
I just have a hard time believing that a company like Microsoft would do that. Yeah, especially with something like Xbox, which has been big for years now. That they would all of a sudden, they're like, we make dumb choices now and we don't do what we need to do. And then they fail as a result of it. Or they lose money as a result of it. It seems like they have a goal in mind. Maybe they haven't reached it yet. Maybe what they're doing right now is profitable enough for them that they don't want to chance anything differently. And that's just the way they want to keep it.
I mean, I don't think it's immediately profitable. I think they're dumping all of this money into it, investing in themselves, in the hopes that long term it'll pay off. So in 5 years, nobody cares about an Xbox Series X, but everybody has Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here waiting until either the next big Xbox game, whether it be Halo Infinite or Avowed or one of these Bethesda titles, is Xbox exclusive, but it's also going to PC, so I'm going to get Game Pass and play it there. And again, all of these minor investments being your AAA games that you've been setting up for years and years, again, you're undercutting your profit share, because I'm not sure there are these 18 million people who will be paying $10 to $20 a month every month until those launches, but I won't be. So I'm not giving you $70, I'm giving you $20.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking Halo and I'm running away with it,
Mm-hmm.
So it just at what point where do these numbers make sense? Is my question.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and you just launched a console that everybody is not down on, but the hype is considerably lower compared to your competitors.
Yeah, people aren't really biting at the bit to get Xbox as much as PlayStation, for example.
And there's no specific reason in which we would want to get an Xbox because all your games are on PC.
Mm-hmm. We have PCs.
A lot of people have PCs. I think it was still at the end of the day for Cyberpunk 2077. I think more than half of its player base was on PC before we knew how shit the console port was.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. Where does it make sense, Connor? Where does it make sense?
Somewhere in the lines, I would assume. Somewhere hidden away in their profit margins.
But I'm sure in a few years I'll just sound like a pessimistic fool.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Guess what we'll have to do?
Wait and see.
Wait and see,
indeed, Connor. But until then, Connor, you and I like to have a little segment at the end of every episode in which we talk about what we've been playing for the last week. Connor, I have not touched a controller in 7 whole days.
That is a rare thing to hear from you, Tavin.
It is a rare thing. However, we do have a special guest coming onto the podcast here in a little bit to talk about a new game that he experienced for the first time. That's right, my good buddy Phil. Phil Shoemaker is kind of joining our 2 Penny Games crew here. And we have launched a new series over at twitch.tv/2pennygames called Hype. Have you ever played? We talked about it last week. Our first stream on Tuesday was mostly successful, I think. It flowed, kind of okay for a first-time stream.
Did he do good at the game?
Well, we're going to find out now, aren't we, Connor?
I guess so.
Until then, or before then, rather, I'm going to give you an opportunity because we haven't had to talk about it. Have you been playing anything this week?
So, I've been playing more Valorant.
Okay, so that's enough.
Oh, no, one thing. I had mentioned last week that Greedfall was on PS
yes,
Plus.
That's right.
I barely touched that.
Okay, cool.
No.
I installed it and I haven't had time to touch it.
Yeah, I touched it. It seems rough around the edges, like the presentation and stuff.
Okay.
You can make nice looking colonial people in your character customization.
Okay.
And the premise of what I know about the game, the premise beyond the intro level of the game, which I'm still at, seems like it's enough to invest me.
The premise being what?
That you're arriving on a new place that has like nature people that live there, but you're like colonizers that are coming here, and you have to like your home area is like kind of shitty thanks to a disease, and you're trying to find the cure, but in doing so, you're colonizing this place that you don't belong to, and it's like, which side are you going to join? Because you obviously have to get both sides of the story and decide.
You can join the natives and push the colonizers out?
I'm assuming so.
Oh, well, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. But that is interesting me enough to get into the game more. But the combat system, the RPG elements, seem what you're usually used to. Not bad, just used to. Uninspiring, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I didn't understand where you were going there, so it's just a little uninspired and a little rough around the edges. Okay, yeah, I installed that game. It's sitting on my console. I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. Maybe you'll play some more this next week, or maybe you won't. But
I hope I will.
For now, Connor, we're gonna go ahead and pass it over to me and Phil, and we're gonna talk about his first time ever playing Metal Gear Solid, the PlayStation 1 classic. So, Connor, we're going to go ahead and sign off with you for now, and then we're going to pick it right back up with Phil. So, Connor, go ahead and say goodbye to the people.
Go, gosh.
And say hi to the people, Phil.
Hey, how's it going? What's popping, players?
Philip Shoemaker of Hype fame.
What the fuck is that?
What?
The fuck is Hype?
Hype. I'm so glad you asked, Phil. Is our new show over at twitch.tv.
Oh shit! Whoever thought of that
2
idea?
Penny Games. It is your idea.
Whoever thought of that idea was probably pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's an acronym for Have You Ever Played? And this week or this last week, we started and finished that there Metal Gear Solid with your first ever playthrough.
We did do that. We did.
It took It was
about 11
nearly 11 hours
close to,
stream of us just brute forcing our way through it.
And there's some brute facing as well.
Facing, classic asymmetric top down stealth game. Revolutionized.
Dude, so classic.
Revolutionized the stealth genre. Revolutionized storytelling in video games. Revolutionized acting in video games.
Do they know what hype is?
Yeah, I talked about it.
I'm saying what the gist of the.
Yeah, no, I talked about it. I've talked about it last week. I talked about it at the end of the Connor segment, and then.
Oh, dude, great podcast these past couple weeks, by the way.
Yeah, clearly you've been listening. So, anyways, you had never played Metal Gear Solid.
I had never up until this past Tuesday.
I have played Metal Gear Solid a litany of times. It is not my most. It's those first 3 games I've played many times. I don't think I've broken double digits with the original game.
Neither have I.
Clearly. But this was your first experience with it, and top level, before we get more granular, how were your feelings about Metal Gear Solid?
I thought overall it was fun.
Really?
I had a good time overall. What, you thought I was going to talk shit on it the whole time?
The stream was a different experience.
Look. All right. Look, it's old and kind of shitty.
Well, hold on. Okay, no, continue.
But I enjoyed it. No, like it feels very dated. It is very dated.
I'll give it that. Okay, yeah.
It also doesn't help that I'm like, I don't know, some of the buttons just felt wrong. I don't know.
That's old school button placement stuff. Yeah. Just so everybody knows, we played the PC GOG games version. Which I would rate as not the premium version of Metal Gear Solid, but it's good enough.
Yeah.
You're getting 90% of the experience minus Psycho Mantis. Psycho Mantis, that boss fight was gutted.
I will say super easy to map controls onto a controller.
Yeah, it was all kinds of broken.
It was a fucking breeze.
It was all kinds of broken.
No, yeah, it sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah, so, and if anybody's looking to play Metal Gear Solid, I would say go the PS3 route, get it on the PS1 Classics,
probably
store.
Don't go PC,
or even do the if you want to take even an extra step, bust out a PlayStation Vita, download it from the PS3 to the PS Vita, and do it that way, because you can totally remap your controls however you want on the Vita version.
I feel like the main reason people even buy like older games for PC anyway is to update the graphics. No, that's not going to happen with this game. You're still going to get the same fucking Slender Man face, no eyes, no mouth movement. There's no reason.
1997.
But still, I'm just saying there's no reason to get it on PC.
3 generations ago.
There's no reason to get it on PC.
No, I would not. No, I would not get the GOG version. Not the premium version. There's a lot more like almost maintenance that you have to do to play with a controller, and it's just there's just better ways to play the original Metal Gear Solid. That is not Metal Gear.
One big gripe that I have obviously they wouldn't have done it because they don't really do these kinds of jokes in games anymore. They only really do these types of jokes in games now, is what I meant to say. They didn't really do them back then, but at the end, when you're about to shoot the Stinger missile at Liquid, and he's like holding Gray Fox, like with him, I wish it would let you and then just fail you. Like if you shoot and then it just fails, and then it fails you.
That is
like, hey, you shouldn't have done that.
That is some like MGS2, MGS3 type shit. Probably more MGS3 because there's a few things you can do in Metal Gear Solid 3 that will just end the game immediately.
Okay, I know there are other stuff in other games like that. Like there's like if you kill a civilian in like Call of Duty, like it'll be like, hey, you failed, or like if you classic, if you shoot at the end of COD 4 campaign when you're raiding the plane, and you're at the very end and you have to shoot the guy that's being held hostage. If you shoot the guy that's held hostage, you fail.
Are you talking
Mile High Club? Mile High Club.
That is that. Oh,
That's
yes.
COD 4, yeah.
Okay. Mile High Club.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was thinking the actual campaign.
No, I mean,
Or the actual
like
story.
at the, it's like the post-credit mission or whatever, where you're on the plane.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking hard to do on Veteran. Holy shit. Dude, I tried to, this is kind of off topic. I tried to do that, they did like the Call of Duty remaster, like the Call of 4 remaster.
Yeah.
I tried hopping back into that to finish it, because that's like one of the last achievements I need.
Yeah.
And holy shit,
Hard?
it's fucking hard.
Fucking hard. COD 4, another classic, innovative game that I don't think holds up super well.
I think it holds up great.
From a level design perspective, I can see the age.
Okay. I see what you mean there.
The way, like, physics engines aren't quite there yet.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgia.
It's like right before Uncharted hits, and Uncharted like revolutionizes how a set piece works in video games.
I don't know if it's actually that bad. I probably just have nostalgia goggles for it.
It's just stiff. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just stiff.
I was actually one of the first FPSs I ever played was COD 4.
I think mine was Call of Duty 3 on the Wii.
On the Wii?
I've got to be wrong about that.
Got the Wii remote gun?
I mean, 100%. I mean, I definitely, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, you can play, or, like, you can aim your weapons in first person. Anyways, back to Metal Gear, Phil.
Okay.
So you overall had fun.
Yeah.
Would you ever maybe even consider revisiting Metal Gear Solid 1 at any point?
The first game?
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
I don't think I need to.
Never. Let's see what happens by the end of the series, how you're feeling.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's so much bullshit in it. Like like the card.
The card?
Like the fucking PAL card, the PAL key.
Oh, the PAL key card. Yeah, no, yeah. No, that thing's the
fucking bullshit.
Yeah, where
backtracky ladder climbing bullshit.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the last easily 45 minutes of the game, just last hour of the game is just spent backtracking from the end of the game to about 20 minutes back.
Going up and down ladders, going up and down elevators.
And hanging out in a room so that you can
oh my god. Literally just sitting, it's like fucking standing there for like 5 minutes.
It's nothing. It's not good game design, and not even fans like it. Nobody likes it.
You know what else about that game is not good game design? Fucking, it doesn't tell you when you're close enough to snap somebody's neck.
Those are things that don't necessarily get fixed in the future, even in more recent title. Oh no, they do it in MGS4.
Does it at least give you a prompt that says, "Hey, snap neck" or whatever?
Yeah.
If it at least gives you a prompt,
well,
I'm fucking fine with that.
They eventually switch it to where when you grab them,
okay,
you press a button and you press the kill button and you kill them.
But when you grab them, does it alert every single person if you're fucking too close?
Okay, so what Phil is referencing is that hitboxes were not as let's say pristine as they are today. So it would look like Phil hadn't crossed over and bumped into the guy, but he had in fact bumped into the guy. So Phil here had struggled to recreate that buffer space in his mind and understand that everything has to be just a touch back.
Yeah. Clunky.
Clunky. Sure, I'll give it clunky to the modern gamer. Very clunky. So Metal Gear Solid, known for a very dense and complex story. Metal Gear Solid 1, not as complex.
Okay, I thought you were about to fucking try to quiz me.
No, it's still pretty. It's still.
I remember.
No. Well, I did want to say how much did you absorb? How much did you take in of the story in this first game? Do you think?
I would say.
Do you think just general broad strokes you got? Or?
On being generous, I'd probably say like 90%.
Oh.
Generous.
That's pretty generous.
More realistic, probably like 75, 80%.
Okay. All right. So probably good enough for when we eventually do 2 that you'll probably be like, oh yeah, that happened. Okay. I'm very interested to see how we go on in the future. So obviously hitbox not working as, not as tight. Controls not as tight. Did you have any other criticisms or even nitpicks of the original Metal Gear Solid?
as you might know, I fucking hated how much I had to switch through the inventory to get to weapons and gadgets that I needed, and how
yes,
shitty.
Yes, your entire everything in your
I had
inventory
no
is right
issues.
in front of you. And...
I had no issues with it until the fucking Metal Gear Rex fight. Metal Gear Rex is when I had the most fucking issues.
And then you suddenly have to use 4 or 5 different items, and to do so, you have to scroll through a dozen different useless items.
I think it's good game design to have to use every single gadget. Yeah. I'd say at least twice.
Yes.
It's bad game. It becomes bad game design when it clutters your fucking menu.
Yes.
It also probably wouldn't be as bad as if we could map the D-pad on the PC version, but we just couldn't.
Yeah, for reasons.
But the fucking analog stick pissed me off when I was trying to scroll through.
Oh yeah, the D-pad makes it so much easier, and
I feel like it would have been way easier.
Going forward, we're going to be doing either the PS3 or the Xbox.
Yeah, I still need to see
games.
if I can. I still need to download on my Xbox.
Check those out. Yeah,
check it out.
So we'll be using those from here on out, which would be a new experience for me because I've only ever played a Metal Gear on a PlayStation.
PlayStation. Yep.
So I'll say in terms of the inventory, it works probably 80% of the time. It's when you get into those boss fights, which every boss fight is just a gimmick that you have to figure out, and then what's the word? To
not a mind
take
reader,
advantage
Tavin.
of.
There you go.
To take advantage of. Exploit.
Yes. Exploit weaknesses. Yes. Like fucking the second Sniper Wolf fight with the fucking
oh yeah, that was definitely not
what's it
how
called?
that,
The rocket
with
launcher.
The Nikita,
well,
with
obviously
launcher.
It's an exploit, but
yeah,
like,
that was obviously not
super
intended.
easy.
It was supposed to be another sniper fight.
That's the cheese.
Yeah, that was the cheese mode that I forget if I discovered that myself or if I watched it online and then executed it on. I forget.
Tavin, you're not that creative.
Dude, little 11-year-old me used to get some shits off back in the day.
No,
bro.
I'm just fucking with you. Just yanking your dick.
In terms of the inventory, in the general gameplay, I think it works fine. Most of the items you never need outside of their intended use for their one gimmick boss fight. The issue is that they stay in your inventory for the entire
game.
So like let's say
there's no organization.
Hand grenades are really only useful 1, maybe 2 times in the game.
I think I only used them on the elevator. Whenever you have the invisible people.
Well, they're used in the tank boss fight in the beginning.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So outside of those 2 moments, you really don't need hand grenades really ever.
Yeah. No organization. There was some weird kind of organization that happened where I guess it remembers what you use the most. Because I'm
not sure how the system works, but the items definitely do shuffle around.
Because I found whenever I would switch between the rations and the key card, the one that would go up to from 1 to like 6, it would automatically put them right next to each other because I kept switching between them.
It's either like a where you're at in the game type thing, or it's a or it's always like that, or it's like a. Okay, for this section of the game, he used these items, so let's put them together and let's put them in the front.
And then, like towards the end, I stopped really giving me the key card and more body armor.
Yeah, so stuff like that. So it might. I'm not quite sure how that system works. It might just be by design, or it might just be segmented into different parts of the game. I'm not quite sure.
You might just remember like what you have equipped the most.
It might. I don't know. I will say for the inventory going forward, Metal Gear Solid 2 is mostly the same. But they do clean it up a little bit.
Okay. I'm just looking forward to being able to use a D-pad.
Yeah, the D-pad is going to be huge. The D-pad is going to be huge
because I feel like with older games like that, you kind of it's almost a necessity.
Yeah, I'll say Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 were on PS2, and the jump in quality is severe in terms of like just minute-to-minute gameplay, which is just what happened from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 because it was in that era of a new console meant something mechanically crazy immediately. So MGS2, which came out early in the PS2, huge jump in quality. People have faces. People have mouths that animate. Right. People have eyes that animate. They are full bodies and their hitboxes are correct. Where you shoot guards matters.
Okay.
There's even a quick section of the game where like you don't have to do this, but you'll like cross in front of a bar. and you can shoot the bottles that are behind the bar, and where you shoot them depends on how they break. Okay. So you're looking at some rudimentary physics simulations, some rudimentary just type stuff like that. MGS3, they take that a little further. I think MGS3 overall doesn't look as great, but the detail is greater. There's a lot less plain shapes and objects. The terrain is a little more diverse, and it's not so many flat surfaces and flat angles, which caused a complaint about MGS3, because MGS3 still uses the fixed camera angles originally, but they later re-released it with a free camera.
So it's mode. More like a third person.
So it's more like a third person. Same controls, so it's still archaic in that way. But
I would much rather play a third person shooter than this top down fucking forced perspective.
They get better. MGS2 and MGS3. Original MGS3 have better camera angles, so you can see more on screen, and it's easier, and they're better placed. Obviously, when 3 was re-released, which will be the version we're playing, the free cam, it's a rudimentary free camera. In that, Snake is just dead center, and it's just obviously just pulled back, and it just allows you to rotate it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's much, much better. And then in 3, the inventory system is completely reworked. Not everything is in your inventory at once. You're limited to the number of items.
You were telling me you can pick what you have.
Yeah, and then even
everything else goes in your backpack.
And what you have even feeds into other systems. So it's just a much more complicated game mechanically. MGS3. So I'm excited to see how you continue through this series and how maybe your feelings over it evolve. Narratively, how much would you say you care about the story of Metal Gear Solid right now?
Enough to where I don't want spoilers.
Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't going to give you spoilers anyway.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if 2 is going to be a roadblock for you.
Okay.
Especially maybe the last third of that game.
Oof.
Kojima gets into his Kojima bag heavy. And then he pulls it back. And then immediately goes back in. So I'm very interested to see how you react to that game's narrative. I have no doubt in my mind that you're gonna mechanically love it way more than the first one.
The second one?
Yeah, because if anybody says the first one's gameplay is better than the second one, you're fucking crazy. So yeah. Overall, positive, but just kind of cool on it, not crazy about it.
I beat Psycho Mantis second try.
Oh yeah, you did do. Let's walk through some of the
let's walk through the
highlights.
Bosses.
So first boss fight,
bad. Revolver Ocelot, bad.
Gave you some trouble.
Bad boss fight.
Gave you some trouble.
Why can't I shoot the fucking good guy? It already has the obstacle of me not being able to cut across the middle.
I think in context of the times, that boss fight plays a lot better. I've played the game so many times, and I just know the exploits so well, and I know how that game controls and feels so well that boss fight doesn't give me any trouble. The problem is that boss fight happens the first, hour into the game?
Yeah, it's very fast.
Probably not even. So a modern gamer looking back is still struggling getting used to everything. So I think now that, well, maybe not now because it's been a few days, but I think if you had replayed that boss fight after we'd played the entire game, I
would just run through it.
I don't know if you would run through it, but you would definitely have more success.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't be shooting Baker.
I killed Baker a couple times.
Oh, that's right. You did do it. I knew you did it once. I forgot you'd done it 2. Maybe
I think I only did it 2. I only did it twice.
Okay. Did you ever trip the C4?
No. Never tripped the C4.
I tripped the C4 once when I was a kid back in the day.
Never tripped the C4. I just didn't get. I think the closest I got was just to pick up the ammo that was right next to the top right.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there's that ammo that's right next to the wire. And when I was a kid, I was too heavy on the stick, and I went to pick up that ammo and blew myself up.
Oh, speaking of being too... Sorry, backtrack from the boss. Speaking of being too heavy on the stick, that fucking ration in the lava area, I never got. That fucking... I fell in like 3 times.
That is the tricky... That might be
it.
the trickiest item in the game to get.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
Because I would hold the stick up to go up against the wall.
What we should have done to just save yourself time is we should have entered into the next doorway and come back. So then the checkpoint is you coming back and not you starting at the beginning of the area.
Oh. Hindsight is 2020.
Can I be honest? I think if I remember the series of events correctly, like the last time you tried, I almost suggested it, but then you were like, "All right, I'm good. I don't need it."
Yeah, I mean, I was over it.
So from there, then we go the tank boss. The tank boss.
Oh, tank boss. Yeah. Okay. I think I don't. Did I die in that one? I don't think I died. I don't think I died.
You either died or I had to.
I like backed the fuck off.
Yeah. It's that one. That one is just my least favorite because
you grab the controller, you finish off the first gunner, and then I got the.
That's right.
Gunner.
You did get the second one because I was trying to determine how the grenades worked on the GOG version of the game, which is another example of why this is not the best version of the game because it does. It's just a simple pull and release. In the original game, I'm trying to remember. If it's like I believe in the original game, it's how long you hold the button determines how long or how far Snake throws how far Snake throws the grenade.
No, I could hold that thing like for a long time, and
it would go the same distance. So it's a little tricky to get that grenade in there on the GOG version. Another reason this is just not the best version of the game.
Not good.
Didn't know it until we came across it. So if we were to ever play this again, we're playing the PS3 version.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
You probably won't, but you know it's cool.
From there, it's Gray Fox, right?
Gray Fox, yeah, Gray Fox is next.
Oh man, Gray Fox.
Gray Fox, I think still a pretty solid fight. Obviously,
I think it's a good boss.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot better than the tank and the Revolver Ocelot fight. Just fucking. I would get the pattern down, and I would lose patience, and I would forget what the pattern was just in the moment, because I would be like, "Oh, it's almost done!" Oh, and then my fucking gamer excitement would like.
Patience was a big issue for you for the entire.
A lot of it, like the fucking whole game.
Yeah, that's stealth games. What is your experience with stealth games before this?
Assassin's Creed.
Oof, not a great example. Not a great example.
I want to say I played another one.
Assassin's Creed is most definitely a power fantasy.
I want to say I played another one, but I can't remember.
Yeah, if you want to, like, you do something...
I'd have to see a list and be
like Dishonored, or some, like... some, like, old-school Splinter Cells.
I played, like, an hour of Dishonored.
Oh, God, Dishonored's a great... Dishonored 1 and 2 might be the best modern examples of stealth games. I'm trying to think. Wolfenstein 1 and 2 both had pretty good stealth in them. I own both games. Oh, Dishonored's are great games.
I own both of them.
We might play them for hype.
Maybe.
I never finished 2, so maybe not that one. Or maybe we'll tag team that one. Who knows?
Could.
But the first one, I love that first game so much. I played that first game 7 times.
I think I played like an hour.
Gray Fox.
Oh no! I learned with Gray Fox that you can shoot him at the end.
At the end,
didn't even know that.
Having a seizure. There's a couple of things you had taught me in our playthrough. I forget what else it was, but definitely the being able to shoot Gray Fox when he's in his weakened state at the end. Definitely
goes to show you that a fresh pair of eyes goes a long way.
Hey, there you go. It just never occurred to me. I also
you just don't use your
never
gun
had that issue like you had that issue,
dude.
We spent a solid 45 minutes when eventually I cut up all the footage and put it up in parts on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/2penny Gamecast.
Oh, did you release it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't even.
I thought you said. Okay. I thought you because you're saying eventually when I do this.
Yeah,
I thought you're saying eventually when I did do this.
No. When I do this, yeah.
Okay.
That boss fight is probably going to be its own part.
Phil versus Gray Fox.
Yeah. So then from Gray Fox, I believe it goes.
Sniper Wolf.
No, Psycho.
Psycho
Mantis.
Psycho Mantis. Second try, beat him. Easy.
Second try, very nice. Very nice.
Oh my god, we had to switch to the keyboard and mouse because we didn't have a second controller port.
Which is probably why you lost that first fight
to
begin with.
Careful, keep moving this table.
Moving the table. So Psycho Mantis, probably the biggest gimmick of the entire game. Obviously, we're missing out on things like reading your memory card.
Yeah, it didn't say anything like save often.
It totally even skips all that dialogue. Yeah. There's no talk about, oh, you're very cautious. You don't fall the traps too easily.
it wouldn't have said that for me anyway.
By the time, by that point in the story, you had not fallen into many traps. So he would have said you were a cautious.
That's true. By the end of the game, I think I fell into like five.
Yeah. So he has dialogue lines for saving often, not saving enough. He has dialogue options for falling into traps, not falling into traps, getting caught a lot. He has dialogue
which,
for.
He would have.
He probably would have said something about it for that. He has dialogue options for certain old video games. I think it's all Konami games. So like if you played like Castlevania.
You played Castlevania.
He's never said anything like that for me because Metal Gear Solid 1 is pretty much the only PS1 game I've ever directly played on my PS3.
Yeah, man, you've never played Spyro, which is on the list.
Well, he wouldn't have said. I was talking like Castlevania or Silent Hill or some of those other Konami games. And who knows? He might have other lines for other games.
Insomniac,
I don't know. Maybe
Better Studio.
I doubt he has Resident Evil quotes in there or anything like that. But there's also a thing where he goes, "All right, put your controller on the floor, and I will move it with my mind." And then he does funny little animations.
Fucking vibrates it,
and he vibrates the controller.
Yeah.
The GOG version of the game, for the most part,
the controller doesn't even vibrate.
Switching your controller port doesn't exist. However, like we had said, having to switch to keyboard. If you are using a keyboard, it does force you to switch to or if you're using a controller, it forces you to switch to keyboard, which I guess is kind of the best way to do that.
I mean, the controls weren't that hard.
No, yeah, but I also would have.
I would have preferred to do it with another controller, but that wasn't an option.
Yeah, I would have as well. If it were me, also I would have flipped because remind me you moved Snake with the directional arrows.
Directional arrows, yeah.
Yeah, I would have switched to WASD.
WASD, yeah.
Yeah. If it were me, or vice versa, I wouldn't have put the default controls on.
Yeah.
The fucking arrows. Come on.
It was a
2020 port of this game, and they're using directional
2020,
arrows.
Really?
Yes, where it came out on PC. Ridiculous.
I will say it brought back some big memories of those old fucking Flash games where you used to play with the directional arrows. Dude, so much fucking time I would play on my fucking parents' computer, in the computer room.
Yeah. So it shocked me. We're almost inverse on which boss fights give us trouble. Psycho Mantis gives me trouble. Sniper Wolf gives me trouble.
I beat Sniper Wolf first try.
You beat Sniper Wolf both times first try.
Yep.
Because we cheesed it the second time.
Well, yeah, but you were more impressed by the first one.
The first one I was very impressed because I was almost certain that the way that the sniper rifle works in that game, you were going to be infuriated.
I got good aim.
You got good aim, buddy. Look at you.
I didn't even need the fucking diazepam. I only used diazepam
to be fair,
twice.
You used it and you took away most of her health with it.
I only used 2 of them. Or no, it was 3.
I
used 3, but I
want to say
2.
the last 2 hits are the ones you used without the drug.
Without diazepam.
Without
my ketamine.
Yeah. So yeah, Sniper Wolf, you crushed. You blazed through the torture sequence, which
fucking easy.
I almost want to say they made easier, but maybe it's just my pea brain memory of being a kid.
I got crack hands,
struggling as a kid. Probably now because I think I've last played MGS1 2 years ago, maybe 3, and I don't remember dying to the torture scene then.
I don't know. We played Mario Party together a few times, but I don't know if we ever hit any button mashing games. I would fucking destroy you.
Typically not of sober minds when we play Mario Party.
It's true. But still, I would destroy you because I have fucking crack fingers.
I love Mario Party.
It's great.
Anyways, so then who's the fight after that? So
after the torture scene?
After the torture scene.
That would be...
It's like boss rush time.
Well, after the torture scene, it's the Sniper Wolf rematch. Which we cheese with the Nikita
rematch.
And then after that, it was the Chopper.
Do we have this backwards? Is it Chopper and then Sniper Wolf?
No, it was Sniper Wolf and then the Chopper.
Okay, all right, and then the Chopper. So Chopper just gave you a few tries.
Wait, was it?
I don't remember. I'm trying to remember the layout of the map in my mind.
Because no.
It has to be Chopper then Sniper Wolf.
Is it?
Yeah, because we do the staircase fight.
Uh-huh.
Where they force you into that action scene to climb. I'm trying to remember how you get there, though.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yes, because the first Sniper Wolf,
Sniper
Wolf fight is you were shooting at her. She is on the tower, and you were shooting at her.
Yes, it is Chopper than Sniper Wolf.
Chopper than Sniper Wolf. So Chopper fight didn't give you too much trouble. You did have to try it a few times, though.
It was only twice.
Twice? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, those boss fights are long. So me backseat gaming, and just kind of living through these motions. Some of it felt longer than it actually was. So, chopper fight, dude, I think is a super okay fight.
After the chopper, the fucking rappelling, such dog shit. Oh my god, the rappelling was
the fight, but yeah.
Is it before the fight?
Yeah, it is. You do the staircase fight.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, then I have to go get the
running
stinger.
Away from the guards.
I have to go get the stinger.
Yeah, and then you have to get the stinger. Yeah.
Dude, the fucking rappel is such bullshit in that game. It's so bad.
That's another one where it's got to be the port because it is not. It is not.
It was bad.
The issues you were having where it was like forcing you to the left. That doesn't happen in the original.
I will say, at the beginning, I did skip through. What the instructions were exactly.
But then we even
because I was like, how fucking hard can it be? And then I went back to it, and I did exactly what it said. I held square.
It's gotta be a port issue, or like an issue with the controller or something.
It's fucking dog shit.
Yeah, that's got to be a PC thing because it is not that bad.
It was so bad.
Yeah, because even if you're an idiot on the PlayStation 1 version of that game. Even if you're an idiot, you can just kind of brute force your way through it. You don't get you were getting stuck.
A monkey can do the rappelling in MGS1.
Quite literally, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, so chopper fight, which fine, it's
easy.
Fine. And then Sniper Wolf Fight 2, round 2. Cheesed it.
Nikita.
I showed you the cheese.
Yeah.
Because you already sniped her once, so why do it again? Also, it's fun to just show her the cheese.
I had just enough Nikita missiles to
just
get
enough.
Fight.
You had exactly enough because you missed your second to last shot.
Yeah.
And then
I think I missed 2 shots total.
Maybe
because I hit one against the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then Vulcan Raven.
Yep, I kept killing myself.
That's that issue. So Vulcan Raven is.
I think he himself only killed me twice.
Yeah, Vulcan Raven is an example
like 3
where
or 4 times.
Raven is another example where we are inverse, where you were struggling for a little while, mostly just because you were just impatient, or you were.
I just wanted to eat I wanted to eat my tendies, man.
Or we were hungry. We'd eaten this food at this point.
Yeah,
we were getting food. I almost never died of Vulcan Raven.
Okay. He doesn't seem like a hard fight.
He's not. It's just a matter of kind of learning his patterns.
Yeah,
and
he only killed me twice, and I killed myself the rest of it with fucking claymores and Nikita missiles blowing up against cart containers and shit.
Let's go ahead, double back to the Sniper Wolf death scene because that is an iconic scene in the game. Because as Sniper is dying, she's giving you her death monologue and her backstory, like every boss fight does.
I made the point that I don't really care about characters if I don't know anything about them beforehand.
And this is why Sniper Wolf's death monologue is the iconic one, because it brings in another character who you hopefully do care about, at least at that point in the game, which is Ocelot. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, not Ocelot, Otacon.
Otacon, yeah.
And Otacon is sitting there crying.
Just like one of my Japanese animes.
Classic line. So Otacon is crying and, is heartbroken because the love of his life is dying.
The love of his life. The woman that he met less than a week ago.
Maybe a week ago. And she was just kind of nice to him.
And she was like, yeah, you can go feed the dogs.
Yeah. 1990s storytelling in video games, man. It doesn't get good until 2010, 2012 even.
Also, we were having that conversation about when the game takes place. 2005.
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
takes place 2005.
Right. That sounds right. Yeah.
Even though it was released in 99.
Yeah. That sounds right. And then I want to say 2 takes place 2000.
Was it 99 or 96?
Sorry, what?
When did it come out? 96?
97.
97? Okay.
97.
So yeah.
98? Somewhere around there.
97. So 8 years in the future.
Yeah. Each game that takes place in modern, quote unquote, modern day does actually take place a few years in the future. Mm-hmm. I think, MGS4, which came out 2000, it had to have been 2007, 2008.
I thought it was a little bit later, because I remember seeing stuff about it.
No, because it's an early PS3 game.
Okay. I thought it was 2010.
No.
No.
Yeah, and that game takes place, I want
to
say...
Snake's an old man in that game.
I want to say 2012, but it might be 2016 or something.
He's a grandpa.
Yeah, he is. We'll see if we play that one.
Yeah.
If you thought cutscenes were egregious in this game.
Oh, man. Dude, I just wanted to play. In the beginning, I was like, God damn it, I just want to fucking play. And then, like, we got food, and I was like, oh, sweet, I can just eat.
Yeah, you guys can talk all you want. What, Miller? Oh, wow, that's great. Let me stuff this mac and cheese. Okay, so Vulcan Raven, and then it's the backtracking, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees that nobody defends the backtracking.
Yep, bad.
The only thing that's even kind of redeeming about it is just the cool, like, little narrative twists that happen during that backtracking.
We never got the Miller call from punching too many ravens.
It's not Miller, it's
Naomi?
Commander dude. What's his name? Fuck.
Oh, Colonel?
Colonel, yeah, the Colonel's name.
I thought that was Miller.
No, Miller is your master.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's not though.
Oh my god, I'm so glad that twist worked for you. Well, quote unquote worked for you.
Dude, I was like, this is stupid.
Because it's layers of it. You're like,
heard...
Miller's betrayed me, and then it's, oh no, Miller's been dead the whole time.
As soon as there was that bit where like, he was like, I'm evil, and then like, I was like, this is fucking stupid. This is how you just this ruined the game for me. And you kept being like, hold on.
Which, to be fair, an element of all the Metal Gear Solid games that we did not explore even a little bit in this playthrough is the idea behind the whole codec thing and like saving numbers is like if you're ever stuck or if you ever need help or if you just want to flush out your cast of characters more, you call them up and you talk to them.
Yeah, I will say that is very. I thought that was very clever. I had always heard about Metal Gear 1 with all like obviously like even though not everybody has played the first Metal Gear like me previously, everyone knows
the meme.
Everyone knows about like you have to do the second controller port for Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about like all those like little things and like how there's the codec number on the back of the box.
Yep.
And I always heard about all that. Like
I think all of those like they're just as famous as like the Final Fantasy VII death.
Yeah.
Or they're just as. I wouldn't say "Would you kindly" is to that level yet. I don't know if it ever is.
I've never met anybody that didn't know what "Would you kindly" is.
I think if you want to, you can avoid that spoiler.
I never even finished. That's BioShock, right?
Yeah.
I never even finished BioShock, and I knew. I played like maybe 30 minutes of BioShock.
I knew it from a YouTube video that I chose to watch. They even gave me a spoiler.
Hey Ash,
warning.
what you playing?
Huh?
Is it Hey Ash, what you playing?
No, it was something
okay.
else.
That's a great.
I couldn't tell you what it was. I want to say it was. No, I couldn't even tell you what it was that I was watching. But they spoiled it in that video that and then I played. That's
an old Destructoid series.
Anyways, and then so the twist happens. Lots of talking in that last.
It's Liquid
into the game, and then Liquid popping out. Metal Gear Rex gave you a lot of issues.
Oh my god, that was peak gamer rage.
Peak gamer rage in that moment.
Oh
I think if you were to ever revisit that fight now that you know the game, you would just fucking crush it.
Probably, but I don't know. I really it all kind of culminated all together. Like
it was just the worst mixing pot of like your style of gameplay.
It was the impatience. It was the fucking shitty controls with the menu. It was the fucking It all came together.
Yep. I'll say
I think it took me 8 or 9 tries.
Oh, at least, probably.
No, I don't think it was that many.
You died a lot and very quickly.
I'm saying I don't think it was that too many.
You know what? You're right. It's just the fact that
it was definitely sub 10.
With that second half of that
fight. It was sub 10 for sure.
That second half of that fight is so long to get to, and then there's the unskippable cutscene. Did you even listen to what was being said?
I can't do it.
It's like Gray Fox is like pouring his heart out.
I can't do it.
How much of Gray Fox's story did you piece together?
So he like you said. While we were playing the game, Metal Gear Solid 1 is not the first Metal Gear game.
No.
There was two more before it.
Yeah.
I think the second one is when you're with Gray Fox, if I'm correct.
Gray Fox is in both games.
Okay.
To give you just a quick...
I'm going off what I remember from you telling me. So he's in both those games, and so is Big Boss, who's your daddy.
Yeah.
And in the second one, you kill Big Boss, and... I guess Gray Fox also dies at some point.
So here, let me just go ahead.
The person that is Gray Fox.
I can just give you the quick summary for both of the original two Metal Gear games.
Go ahead.
First one, it's real simple. terrorists have popped out with this base called Outer Heaven.
Metal Gear.
Big Boss, leader of Foxhound, sends in rookie soldier Solid Snake to go and take down these terrorists. At the end of the game, it's revealed that Big Boss is actually the leader of the terrorists, and you fight him and kill him.
What a twist.
They had sent in, before Snake, they had sent in Gray Fox, who was another Foxhound operative, but he had been captured. So throughout the game, you save Gray Fox.
He wasn't always a robot ninja.
He's very much just a guy.
Yeah.
You save Gray Fox, you kill Big Boss, game over. You destroy Metal Gear, game over. Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, very similar premise. It's some fictional land called Zanzibar Land, which they reference in Metal Gear Solid.
They just said Zanzibar, though. They just said Zanzibar Land.
Oh, well, in the original game, it's called Zanzibar Land.
That's dumb.
I agree.
Zanzibar.
I agree. It's some fictional African country. Snake it's pretty much the same game where, hey, rumors of Metal Gear, terrorists, go figure out what's happening. So you go in, you find out that Gray Fox has defected, you fight him in a minefield in a fisticuffs battle. You beat him, you destroy Metal Gear, and then Big Boss is alive again. So then you fight Big Boss again, and you kill him again.
Oh my god.
Now you might be wondering, Phil, if you kill him in the first game, does he appear in the second game?
Oh my, what? Tell me, please!
That might be a question that is answered.
Oh.
Way later down the line.
Okay. In Metal Gear Solid 5, when you play as Big Boss.
Way down the line it's answered. That's basically the story of the first two games. It's really nothing special. It's super generic, like just text on screen nonsense, like people call you up. And sure, there's some relationships that kind of happen in that game with people on your codec, but it's not nearly as important. Those first two games, Metal Gear Solid is considered the first game because those first two games can be summarized as quickly as I just did just now.
Yeah.
In Metal Gear Solid, it is retconned, to where, after the torture scene, Naomi and Snake are bonding with their loss and grievances of the past.
Yeah.
And Snake talks about how, as Big Boss is dying the second time, Big Boss reveals to Snake that he is his father.
Oh.
Never happens.
Star Wars.
It's not in Metal Gear 2 at all. It's not there. But they make it so in Metal Gear Solid.
I'm very familiar with the retcons. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan.
At the end of Metal Gear Solid, it is actually shown that it's not they're clones. They're not. Snake, Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are clones. And there's Les Enfants Terribles project, all of that.
The terrible babies.
Yeah. So, and then that final fist fight with Liquid. How'd you feel about that one?
It took me 5 tries?
Something like that. A couple tries.
Yeah, I think it was 5 because we had what's his name in the chat that was like, "Oh, no, this is the time."
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I had a fan in the chat. That was nice.
Yeah.
So, Metal Gear Solid overall
solid,
old, but if you can recontextualize yourself in the time that game comes out, you can kind of appreciate it more. And then if you watch where the franchise goes from here, great things.
They're also
terrible.
I was not expecting the final Jeep bit.
Yeah, the super.
That one, I think I beat that one 2 times.
Yeah, I think it takes pretty much
try.
Everybody an attempt or two.
I died the first try, and then I was like, "Oh, I need to be smart with my rations because I don't have any other."
Gadgets. You're out of all your shit. So yeah. So Phil, that is Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
As played through Hype on twitch.tv/2pennygames.
Correct.
We are starting Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, we are.
My first playthrough.
God, I'm so excited.
Very exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So I'll be playing. It'll be my hands on the controller. We will not beat it in one
No,
sitting.
absolutely not.
Probably 2, maybe 3, depending on how we're feeling.
I think we can probably do it in 2.
Probably in 2. So we probably won't have you back next week. We'll probably have you back when I beat that, and we'll talk. We'll talk about some Kingdom Hearts, and we'll go through some back and forth. It depends on if Connor fucking played anything.
Oh yeah,
that week.
True.
So because this week Connor hasn't really played anything, he mentioned a few things, but
so that's why you finally asked me, huh?
Well, no, I asked you before any of that happened. But,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, so maybe when we beat games, we'll,
I just wanted
I'll say
to...
MGS2 might take us to 2 sittings.
All right.
2 sittings. Which is going to be unfortunate because the game is not 20 hours long, but it is definitely more than 10 hours long.
Oh, okay.
So it might be like a sitting and like a half, maybe.
I will say, however long Kingdom Hearts is going to take, Kingdom Hearts 2... Oh my god!
Twice as long.
Fucking long game, dude.
Oh,
it was like marketed when it was like being like ads were running for it that it was 40 hours of gameplay.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus.
We can probably do it in less, but
which to be fair, as we dive through some different franchises, entries are going to take us a variety of different ways. Yeah. Mass Effect, each one of those is going to take us at least 2 sittings, and that's pretty much only if we're doing the straight path, but it's an RPG, so you can't... it's a narrative RPG where the more you explore, the better you're rewarded. So Mass Effect will probably take us 3 sittings per game, I imagine.
Something like that. We'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it. We'll just play with the punches and all that. So, anyways, just to wrap this up real quickly, we went way longer than I thought we were going to.
Holy shit. How
long? We went almost an hour.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We're having fun talking about playing games.
Talking about playing games. Yeah, this happens sometimes. So, to wrap up this episode of the Two Penny Games Cast, episode 28, you can catch us Monday, 8 a.m., SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, every week. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But other than that, Phil, taking the place of Connor on the outro, say bye to the people.
Bye, guys.